Welcome to the AI Research Roundup. I'm Alex. Today we're looking at a paper trending on X, published on December 31st, 2025, just about 5 days ago. It challenges a recent claim in mechanistic interpretability by proving that two supposedly distinct neural circuits for modular addition, known as the clock and the pizza, are actually geometrically and topologically equivalent representations of the same algorithm. The paper is titled, "On the Geometry and Topology of Representations, the Manifolds of Modular Addition." And as we'll see later, this resolution provides strong evidence for the universality hypothesis, suggesting that different models naturally converge to the same structures regardless of their architecture. So, Figure 1 visualizes the analytical forms that spark this debate. The top panel shows the angle summation model, often called the clock circuit, where representations lie perfectly on a circle's edge. In contrast, the bottom panel depicts the vector addition model, or the pizza circuit, which fills the interior disk. Both plots are colored by the modular sum to track the output value, and these starkly different geometric shapes are exactly why previous researchers assumed they were two completely different algorithms. Well, having seen the theoretical shapes, Figure 3 now reveals the actual activation heat maps across the input space A and B. The first three panels represent MLP add, the pizza model, labeled here as attention 0.0, and the clock model, or attention 1.0. Crucially, they all display the same strong diagonal banding. This means neurons fire most intensely when inputs are close in value, effectively encoding the distance between them. On the far right, however, the MLP concat model shows a uniform, unstructured activation pattern, confirming it operates differently. Alright, while the previous heat maps showed local firing patterns, Figure 2 reveals the global geometry of these representations using principal component analysis. The first three panels, corresponding to MLP add, the pizza model, and the clock model, all collapse into practically identical two-dimensional disks. This visually confirms they share the same underlying structure, despite their different designs. In contrast, the MLP concat model on the far right forms a distinct, folded toroidal shape, proving it operates on a completely different topological basis. So, Figure 4 tracks how these manifolds evolve layer by layer. The top row follows the MLP concat model, which preserves a toroidal topology from the embeddings through layer 1, before eventually collapsing down to a simple circle at the logits. In contrast, the bottom row shows the MLP add and attention models. These architectures immediately compress the input into a flat disk in the first layer, matching the pizza representation, which then evolves into a thick ring, or annulus, at the final layer. Okay. Having established the geometric shapes, Figure 5 provides a rigorous statistical confirmation across 700 trained models. The heat maps display neuron activation distributions, with the top row tracking maximum points and the bottom row tracking the center of mass. Notice how the attention 0.0 and attention 1.0 columns look nearly identical. Both exhibit a strong concentration along the diagonal, similar to the MLP add baseline. This tight alignment proves they share the same underlying phase structure, whereas the MLP concat panels on the right remain diffuse and distinct. So, Figure 6 solidifies this by quantifying the topology using Betty numbers, which essentially count the holes in a geometric shape. In the attention 0.0 and 1.0 panels at the top, the first layers are dominated by red pie charts. These correspond to Betty numbers 1, 0, 0, which is the signature of a solid disk, mathematically confirming the pizza structure. Down in the bottom right, however, the MLP concat model starts with blue charts indicating a torus. Yet, by the final column, every architecture transitions to orange, meaning they all converge to the same circular topology to deliver the answer. Well, Table 1 complements the topological analysis by statistically quantifying the differences between these architectures using maximum mean discrepancy scores. Specifically, the fourth row compares attention 0.0 against attention 1.0, finding an extremely low MMD score of 0.021. This confirms the pizza and clock models are nearly indistinguishable in practice. By comparison, the third row shows that the MLP concat model yields a much higher discrepancy of 0.26, proving it is indeed the geometric outlier. Wrapping up, two takeaways stand out. First, the conflict between clock and pizza circuits is resolved, as they prove to be topologically equivalent forms of the same algorithm. Second, this supports the universality hypothesis, suggesting that neural networks naturally converge on shared geometric solutions regardless of architecture. That's it for this episode of the AI Research Roundup. I'm Alex. Thanks for listening.